Hello and welcome to this overview of FileWave 14. It's my distinct pleasure to bring this to you as there's so much in this particular release of FileWave. But before we get into specifically what's in this version of FileWave, let's talk about the upgrade process. We want to upgrade safely because there's just nothing worse than telling the boss, oops. Before you upgrade, go ahead, stop, and read the release notes that we published. There's really good stuff in there, especially related to what bugs were fixed and the compatibility chart that you want to take a look at as far as client compatibility. And new in version 14 of FileWave, you can no longer run your FileWave server itself directly on Windows. Now you can still run it on Windows, but in a virtual appliance on Windows. So your upgrade path in this case may be also a migration from Windows to a virtual host, but we can help you with that too. So please reach out on that. You want to make absolutely sure that you have a good populated backup, although there is something about version 14 that we're going to talk about related to backups. When you are ready to proceed, you can reach out and leverage our support teams to help you schedule an upgrade. They will absolutely help you if you're unsure of what to do. If you are going to do the upgrade on your own, make sure and follow the instructions that are linked to from the FileWave 14 download page. But now, without further ado, we're going to hop in and talk about what is in version 14 of FileWave. So let's go ahead and talk about FileWave 14. It is a truly significant release. In my time with FileWave, we've never put out such a large release with so many features in it. In fact, there's so many things in it that you'll find that many of the things we normally cover in these overviews, such as bug lists, etc., we won't even be touching as there's no time. But in general, FileWave 14, if we look at the general kind of release overview, it incorporates many new features which fall into three general categories. The first are new features and improvements to existing native admin functionality. So this is the native admin you've been used to using all this time. Many new things coming in there, quite an impressive list, and some things that I think are really going to make your day-to-day lives easier. We've got a new highly customizable FileWave Dashboard for detailed monitoring and reporting. I think you're really going to get a bang out of what this dashboard can do for you. And then lastly, we've got what we're calling an open beta of our first functional FileWave Web Admin, where you can do more than just reporting information, where you can actually assign payloads, create deployments, etc. So we're going to be talking about all three of these things today in turn. All right, well, let's start here with the native admin in FileWave 14. We've got a number of new features and improvements to existing features. First, we're going to start with Android EMM Zero Touch Enrollment. This is basically a process by which you can work with Google to have devices that you purchase be registered in your Google portal. And FileWave will tie directly into that, so the devices can be directly drop shipped to folks. They can set it up immediately, and it will automatically be part of your environment without them having to do anything special. For those of you who manage Apple devices, very similar process to DEP. We've got changes to VPP licensing preferences. This is in support a little bit to iOS user enrollment that we'll talk about in a little bit, but previously you had the ability to assign licenses by default to a device or to a user. There's now an in-between, it's called automatic, where it will try device first, and if it can't do device, it'll fall back to user. Very helpful for iOS user enrollment, and also helpful for things like assignation of iBooks, for instance. We've got the ability now to create smart groups from inventory queries. So no more duplicating effort. If you've already got an inventory query, you can simply right-click it, choose to create a smart group from it, and it will immediately be created in your client view. Similarly, we've now got the ability to duplicate smart groups. So if you had a group that was looking at a particular department or particular school, for instance, and now you need to create another one, it's just a different department or a different school, you no longer have to recreate those from scratch. You can right click on them and simply choose to duplicate. One of the largest changes in FileWave Native Admin is the ability to now do file set revisions. You can think of these as differing versions of file sets within the same file set. So for instance, with Firefox. When we deploy Firefox, it might be version 80 today, but we want to do version 81 next week. We can now put both of those in the same file set and then just switch what the default version is, which makes it very easy to switch from one version to another. So we think you're really going to like file set revisions. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about iOS BYOD user enrollment. This is particularly geared toward enterprise environments, but maybe also useful in educational environments. You have the ability to do a new type of enrollment for iOS devices where it's a user enrollment. So it's a user-owned device. It's a lesser functionality set than what you get for management of DP supervised devices, but it allows you to work with employees, staff members, etc., to do things like configure VPN, to configure email, etc. So we think you're going to like that if you've got the right use case for it. There's also been a change to VPP licensing reservations, and that change is that you don't have to do them anymore. You don't necessarily have to have a reservation. You can set the reservation so that it's just dynamic, so you can have multiple file sets that use the same license pool without setting reservation numbers, and it allows it to dynamically draw. This is also very helpful when you buy additional licenses of any particular application, because it will just automatically allocate to that pool. So a time saver there. We've also got the new capability of move to for file sets. For those of you who manage thousands of file sets, no doubt from at one point or another, you've tried to move a file set from one folder all the way at the bottom of the view all the way to the top, and it was very, very painful. So now you can simply right click on a file set and choose to move to and choose the destination, very much like you've been able to do in the client view for quite some time. We've also got a pre-upgrade backup built into version 14 and all versions going forward. Now, this isn't to say that you don't need to back up your own environment before you do an upgrade, but it is a safety net. It does not back up file sets, but it does back up the database, credentials, etc., the things that are absolutely not recoverable. So that automatically happens now during the upgrade process, and we purge those over time, so you only have the most recent ones. So that is there as a safety net in case we run into problems. We've also got a smart group preview. This is with relation to building an inventory query driven smart group. There can be a discrepancy between what you would see in preview and what you would actually see in the smart group because of the different types of records. So there's now a new tab in this view to show you specifically what clients will be there, which is slightly different sometimes than what you'll see in the field view. So it's just to provide some clarity. And then lastly, to make it easier to support very large Windows environments when it comes to imaging, you can now assign Windows images and Windows driver packs to smart groups within the FileWave admin. So if you want to create a smart group that says, show me all Dell 380 devices, you can now assign a Dell 380 driver pack to that smart group smartly, as it were, using smart groups. So that about wraps it up for the features that we have in our native admin, but we're going to look here at dashboards, and we're also going to take a look at the web admin. Let's go ahead and talk about the new FileWave dashboard in FileWave 14. Our new dashboard, unlike the dashboard that's built into the native admin, is powered by Grafana and Prometheus. Grafana is used as kind of the visualization engine for the data, and Prometheus is used for the data storage, the database, the time series recording, etc. Both of these solutions are open source, and both are integrated directly into FileWave 14. This new dashboard provides more granular environmental reporting and alerting capabilities. So you can see here that I've got some alerts going in my environment that tell me my SSL cert is about to expire. This dashboard is going to be very useful for our support teams to work with you operationally when you're seeing issues in your environment, because information is recorded over time and we can watch server performance and server behavior over time to watch what things are perhaps going wrong in your environment and help us more quickly get to resolution. This dashboard allows for highly customizable and attractive reporting. This solution is not built in stone. We give you some starting points, but you can build your own charts, your own graphs, and look at the things that are important to you in your environment. And I think when archaeologists look back at FileWave 14 100 years from now, they're going to look at this dashboard and say, wow, can you believe what a tool set was provided to FileWave customers by the good folks at FileWave. And this dashboard allows us to do things that we've not been able to historically do, such as data aggregation. So if you look here at the right, you can see we could always report on, say, FileWave client versions, but we couldn't do that data aggregation. So there was no concept of summarizing the data and showing you an overall environment. And you can see here at the top left there that we have a chart that's showing us that. That's directly in our dashboard, and you can build that in any dashboards like this that you want. So you'll definitely want to take a look at some of the documentation supporting using this fully customizable dashboard. Last but by no means least, let's talk about our first functional web admin in FileWave 14. Now, this is an open beta. You may be saying to yourself, what is an open beta? Well, this is not a beta solution as far as we're concerned. We're supporting the solution as a full production solution. But the beta part comes from wanting your feedback. This is a new solution with a few things done differently than what we've done in the native admin, and we want your feedback. We want to tailor the solution to your wants and needs. So please do give us your feedback. So we're calling this an open beta, but the admin is functional and supported as if it were production. As we mentioned, it is a functional admin, but it's primarily functional and focused on iOS device management, what we call daily drivers. Those are the things that you do every day when you're managing iOS devices. So you're doing things like creating profiles, assigning profiles to devices, you're creating smart groups, you're assigning VPP licenses, etc. Those are the daily drivers and primarily what this web admin is focused on. But it is not only limited to iOS function. There are a number of things that you can do in this web admin, and here's a sample of them. You can enroll devices, right? So you can bring devices in to the environment. You can manage groups and smart groups of clients. You can create payloads, aka file sets. You can create deployments, what we refer to in the native admin as associations. You can monitor installations, both wholesale, look at how a payload is being deployed to devices, and for any individual device, look at it and see its command history and how those applications, etc., are going down to it. You can build and view reports from within the web admin. You can evaluate security patching status, which is actually a really big addition for those of you who manage desktop environments. You can look wholesale now at an environment to see your security patches, how they're applied across the environment, what devices are missing those patches. Also within this web admin, we've got integrated help, integrated knowledge base links within each view of the web admin. It relates directly to the knowledge base articles with this little question mark in the top that you see there, relates directly to knowledge base articles about the view that you're in. So we're very proud of this release of the web admin. And by the way, the video that you're looking here at on the right hand side was fully done on an iPad. So when you're managing iOS devices in your environment with FileWave 14 version of the web admin, you can actually manage them from an iPad as well. So on behalf of myself and the rest of the FileWave family, we thank you very much for joining us for what we hope to be just a tremendously well-received release. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to hear from you soon.